when you're with a person that you care about, these hormones are firing, things are happening, and it's this fun ride to be on. So
Hmm.
as you're transitioning from casual to serious, like you are getting dopamine, you are getting endorphins, you are getting all of these fun things. And that's kind of the honeymoon phase we talk about in a relationship. It is important to let that honeymoon phase wear off before you increase your commitment too quickly.
Hello, Psych fans. Welcome to another fun-filled, action-packed day of psychology where we get after some really good psychological mumbo jumbo here, if you can call it that. I love kicking this thing off because I do it so randomly every single time. I don't know why, but anyway, I do. But yes, we are tackling some fantastic topics today, which I'm excited to get into. But beforehand, let's introduce ourselves again so you remember who you are listening to. Again, my name is Spencer Kohler, and I am the psycho professor. I don't know, whatever you want to call me. I'm the guy that has a lot of uh, interesting things to talk about, and Allison just goes along with it. And my co-host with me today is.
Alison Fabricius coming to you from my recording closet, hence the random stuff on my walls, which you will see eventually, we hope. We'll get there. I, so if Spencer is the years of psychological teaching and molding young minds, I would be the hot mess that's trying to live it to the best of my ability. And I have 6 years of therapy under my belt and a variety of life experience to go with it. I wrote a book once about IFS. One day we're going to do an episode on IFS and it's going to be great.
Yes. Yeah.
And if Spencer thinks he's all over the place, well, here I am to challenge that theory just a little bit. So, Spencer, what are we talking about today?
Oh, awesome. So I this one is brought to you in part by one of my sons, I will tell you, and I think all of my children need to hear this, be a part of this, because this is something that I learned when I was younger. But we are going to be talking about dating today, and specifically dating progression. And there's about five different stages we're going to be talking about here. And we're going to be unpacking some of the do's and don'ts and the things that should happen during these different stages so that we know when we're in these stages. And that's going to be fun. That's going to be exciting. Allison's like, Spence, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard this before.
But I'm here for it because I already have ideas. The minute you told
Good,
me what was happening tonight, I'm like, I have no idea where this is going to fit with your agenda, like what you've, like, what do we
right?
want to talk about? But I have zero dating experience, but lots of other people's experience around me. And so we're going to chat. It's going to be great.
I guess technically, I mean, I have a lot of dating experience, but the one interesting thing about it is my wife always tells me, she's like, honey, we never dated. And there's a lot of truth to that. We didn't really do a whole lot of the typical dating. So this is going to be a little bit interesting as I bring these different bits and pieces up. But I hope that there are folks that are working on relationships. And here's the wonderful thing about it too, is even if you're married, even if you're cohabitating, even if you are in some type of relationship already, the beauty of this is these principles are still helpful. They're still something that you can utilize and pass down to other folks and things because I think they're important for all of us to unpack because I feel like as a whole and as a culture, we've really gone away from what dating really is and what it really should be. Now, this is not going to be a whole entire episode of back in the day, when we were kids. We're not going to be going there, and we're not going to be really diving into, how the pioneers did things. Though, if you want a dissertation on that, I've got some really funny stories of dating in the pioneer era and how it was back in the day, because there were some pretty funky things that were going on. So, be that as it may, we're going to dive in here and try to unpack some of these interesting things. So, let's give you the framework. Let's give you the five different stages, and then we're going to go back. We're going to go through. We're going to talk about these. So, what I'm doing on the screen right now for Allison's purposes, because she can see me, but if you were here and watching me, I have my hand up. Okay. It is my right hand. And so there are five. There are five stages of progression that we're going to be talking about tonight. And the ideal is if you close the pinky, you've reached the first stage. And if you've closed the second stage, you close one of your middle fingers and another middle finger. And pretty soon, by the time you're done, you have a thumbs up, right? And that last one is marriage. So first and foremost, we are talking about dating. That would be our first stage. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that means. The second stage that we're going to be talking about is serious dating. Yeah, believe it or not, there's a difference. And a lot of people have lost this aspect. There's a difference between dating and serious dating. And so those are the
Does
first two.
that does that involve the not DNR, not do not
The
resuscitate.
DNR, do not
Determine the
resuscitate the loved
relationship.
ones. Oh,
No, what it
DTR,
is?
determine the
Yeah, the
relationship.
DTR. That's okay. Well,
Yes, yeah. We
if
will
you
be
have a
talking about
DNR on your relationship, it's time to just be done. If you have a DTR,
just walk away. Oh, I love it. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about determining the relationship at all these different stages, because one of the most important things about these stages is we have to walk down each stage together. So if one of us is in one stage and another of us is in another stage, well, it's not working, and there's some dissonance there, and there's some problems and issues that we need to unpack. So, dating, serious dating. The third one we're going to be talking about is courtship. Now, a lot of people sit back and they talk about courtship and they're like, okay, courtship. What are you talking about? What do you mean? We're going to get to
well,
all that.
I immediately think of the Duggars, actually. But we'll go into that later when we're talking about courtship. But
Yeah, you're
anyway,
definitely going to have to tell me more about that. Number four here is engagement. And obviously, a lot of people talk about engagement. A lot of people know about the engagement. In fact, oftentimes we jump right to engagement all too quickly. And sometimes we're not quite ready to be there quite yet. But everybody knows about that because there's easy things to define that movement, whereas there's not so many in some gray clouded areas that may not necessarily define the other three beforehand, which is what a lot of people kind of get caught up with. So the last one obviously is marriage. Now, yes, we're going to be talking about marriage as an end result here. I know there's a lot of different couples that have different aspects and different ideas about how to, do things. So there's cohabitation, for example, right? Which is a big and a very popular thing that a lot of folks do, and we'll talk about that where that fits into play. With couples. And I will also talk about how, and I should say how I feel about and why I see that marriage tends to be, and still to this day, marriage tends to be more successful than other forms of cohabitation and other things in there. So, but we'll talk and get into some of that as we go through this. And like Allison said, we're not exactly sure how this is going to unravel, but you're going to come out with this with some very clear definitions and some understanding about these different stages, and where they need to be and where they need to go. That being said, let's rewind, go back to the first stage, and talk about what this specifically looks like. So, Allison, I'm going to throw this out to you and get your take on things. So, when we talk about dating, we're just talking about casual dating here, dating as dating would be. How would you describe those parameters of dating? How would you describe the parameters of starting out? And if you don't know, you can say, I have no clue. I don't know. I'm here to learn.
oh, I have lots of knowledge. It's just I haven't
Yes.
applied any of it.
Right. It's easier to talk about it than it is to apply, right?
Well, I have kissed exactly two people in my entire life
Wow.
and
I won't tell
have
you how many I have.
and have been in two serious relationships in my
Okay.
entire life. So
Hmm.
know a lot about the ideals of it, have not
Ah.
necessarily applied them. So in my mind, the idea of dating, of casual dating, let's frame it that way, is you're just getting to know the person. Like,
Hmm.
do you actually enjoy each other's company? Can you carry on a conversation? Do you have any shared likes or dislikes? Um, do you enjoy spending time together in a variety of areas? So all of
Hmm.
the things that I'm listing are in my mind, ingredients to get to a more serious dating relationship. Like,
Hmm.
because if you don't like each other, please don't just make out with them. Oh, please don't just make out.
What's what's wrong with that, Allison? I don't know what you're
Nick
talking
Mo
about.
is
Oh,
dangerous. You,
I-
you remember
Nick.
how we were talking about the nervous system last week
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
how certain signals go through your
Hmm.
body?
Hmm. Yep.
Well, when you're making out with someone, you're releasing oxytocin and
Hmm.
dopamine, and your body really likes what those feel like. So
Hmm.
then it attaches those cocktail of chemicals to the person you're making out with. If
Mm.
you don't actually like them and don't want to spend time with them, you become addicted to the hormones instead of developing a relationship with the person.
Oh man, that's great. That's
So,
great stuff right there. No, it really is because I can't tell you how many people are like, well, I'm dating this person, but I just really don't feel like it's going anywhere, but I like it. I do, and they're like, yeah, well, this is what you enjoy. This is what you like. This is the hormonal effect. That's what you like. That's what you're getting out of this relationship, and that's about it, right? And then you have to sit back and say, no, is there more to this that meets the eye? Is there more than just the endorphins, or more than just the chemicals that are flowing through your body with the physical interaction of things? So
can
yeah,
I
that's an excellent point. Throw it in
can
there.
I
Go for
also
it. Yeah.
add another piece in here? Another piece is dating has sort of, in my mind, could be wrong.
Hmm.
Like I said, only seriously dated two people, only just dated people in general too. Um, but a fear that we have is it's become a popularity contest. It's
Hmm.
become, especially I think in my mind with the dating apps, because, and I have been on dating apps, that I can at least say, um,
Hmm.
you want to put your best foot forward. And anytime you're getting to know new people, you want
Hmm.
to put your best foot forward. And in
Yeah.
my mind, if I'm going into a relationship, I'm looking for a serious one.
Hmm.
I spend a lot of time in deep thought and deep feeling, and I want to be able to share that with someone. So if I'm getting to know someone, that's kind of where I want it to go.
You bet.
Um, and so, but we get so caught up in the, well, do I look right? Am I on trend? Are my clothes right? In my case, is my
Mm.
makeup right? Like, do I want them to like me? We can very
Hmm.
easily get stuck in this idea of I want them to like me. And so then we can kind of forget that they actually need to get to know us in order to get to know us.
Right.
And if
It's hard
you
to do that with all the smoke screens, right?
Mhm. Now, I'm not saying like put your worst picture on a dating app and like eh,
Put the picture of you when you first wake up in the morning. That is true reality right there.
so maybe that doesn't need to happen to like serious dating and
Right,
maybe
right.
you go camping with a group of friends or something. But
Hmm.
when I got on a dating app, I did my best professional headshot that I had ever taken.
Hmm.
And I do say so, if I do say so myself, which I am, I was smoking hot in that picture. But I also pictured just an average day, like
Hmm.
just a candid fun shot. And then I had a picture of me at a Ren fair in a costume I made myself
Wow.
because I wanted people to know what they were getting into.
Yeah.
And so something I think some maybe I'm putting this too soon, Spencer, and you can like chuck it down the road to
Cart
serious
before the
dating.
horse.
Yep, the cart before the horse. But if you were going into a relationship because you need someone to like you are going to wear masks or hide parts of yourself that are
Hmm.
really important for a partner to know.
Oh yeah, and we all do, whether we acknowledge it or not, because sometimes it is so subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is so subconscious, and it's so deeply rooted in the subconscious because we're fighting survival instincts and natural, habits and tendencies, all these different things. Yeah, yeah.
And wounds. Like
Hmm.
something that I found in my relationships is that when my young self comes up and she's like, I just want somebody to like me.
Hmm.
I am not going to be honestly representing myself in a
Hmm.
relationship. And this is any relationship. This is a dating relationship, a working relationship, a church relationship, a community relationship. If
Hmm.
I'm just going, I want someone to like me, my honesty tanks.
Yeah.
And so and like you said, it's incredibly subconscious.
Hmm.
So my invitation would be go back and re-listen to all of our previous episodes, regulate a little bit, use the tools,
Yeah.
and then sit with yourself and go, hey, why do I want to enter into this relationship? Am I lonely? Okay, if you're lonely, please go extend your network, get to know people. In no way am I saying don't do that. but just
Hmm.
recognize and
Yeah.
kind of put your best foot forward with yourself and say, okay, am I wanting to be in a long-term relationship? Am I just doing this to meet people because my world's gotten kind of small?
Hmm.
Um, am I doing this for a Nickmo? I'm not judging, just saying be aware of what's attached.
It's a thing.
It's
It
a
is a
thing.
thing.
It is a
It's a
thing.
thing.
Okay. Those are all of probably way more thoughts than you were looking for,
No, no,
Spencer.
that was great. That was great. So let's break down some framework here to help people kind of see where this starts. So dating kind of starts when you are socializing in some type of effort to attract another individual. So that could be anything to if you ask somebody out on a first date, all the way to group settings where you're doing group activities, where you're seeing people in different settings, like maybe you're taking a class at college, or you see somebody at church, or all these different social settings. It's when you are seeing somebody in said social setting to where you find some element of attraction there. And what's interesting about this casual dating is that's kind of where things get started, right? We kind of kick off the gates in that there are activities that bring us together that allow us to socialize, and then we begin to gravitate to certain individuals. Now, there can be a wide range of different reasons why we are gravitating to said individual. It could be looks, it could be attitude, it could be behavior, it could be hormones and pheromones. It could be a whole bunch of different things that are going off. But for the most part, and like you alluded to earlier, it's like, hey, I'd loved having a good conversation with somebody. So if they're a good conversationalist, right? It could be their political views. It could be the fact that they are, Disney fans, or they are a big sports fan, or all
French
these different
Revolution, French Revolution
French
nerds.
Revolution. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. So, in this time of casual dating, you're not honing in necessarily on just dating that one individual. Yes, you kind of hone in maybe in the time and the circumstance or the situation and say, hey, maybe the goal is to get their number, to see about a second date, to see if there is something to progress. You look like you had something you wanted to say about that. That was
No, I was just laughing at I don't know if it was a Saturday Night Live or a Nickelodeon or whatever, but it's just this scene where a guy comes up to her and goes, "Can I have your number? Can I have it? Can I have it?" There are beautiful ways to get people's numbers. That might
yes,
not be the most effective. Um,
right.
I would just say though, as I alluded to, I did jump straight to serious dating. That's the experience I have. But it really is just getting to know a variety of people to figure out what
Hmm.
you like and don't like in
Hmm.
someone you're interacting with.
Yeah,
Just because we're a product of the homes we grow up in, and everybody else we meet are products of the home that they grow up in, and you're going to find things you love, and you're going to find things that you're like, no, thank you. And the broader experience you have of getting to know people, the more you figure out what you value and what you care about.
love it. Yeah, couldn't have said it better. And I like how you say you kind of gravitate to the serious dating side of things. And oftentimes, far too often, we do, right? We jump into these. And in some situations, it's those of the feminine variety that kind of tend to jump there as quick as possible, because it's in that serious dating where things change a little bit more and a little bit better. So before we jump there, though, we have to outline a couple of different things. The biggest key indicator, okay, to whether you are transitioning from a dating stage, a casual dating stage, to a serious dating stage is whether you have defined, and obviously you have to define this with the other person too, but you have to define whether you are cutting off the rest of the relationship ties, right? We can't be in a serious dating relationship when we haven't necessarily cut things off with somebody. Now, in transitioning into this, it could be that you're down to maybe, two individuals or something. But the point is with this casual dating, you're trying on a whole bunch of different personalities, right? You're trying on a whole bunch of different people. You're seeing all kinds of different things about them. Yes, go for it, Allison. You had something
You're
else.
not trying on your different personalities. You're road testing how you interact with theirs. Coming from
Yes.
a person who struggles not masking, and there's this beautiful meme oh, you're just such a friendly person to talk to. I really enjoy talking to you. And the
Hmm.
person's response is, good, I paid close attention to you and I picked a mask and a face I thought you might like, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So, to be
Yeah.
clear, in this casual to serious, being yourself is key and
Hmm.
seeing how you are interacting with them being their selves.
And that's beautiful. Like I couldn't have said that any better. That's the key right there, right? Is do you feel like you can act yourself? Do you feel like you can be yourself with this person in front of this person? Do you feel like they bring that out in you? Is it a natural thing, or do you have to try really, really, really hard to be yourself? If you're trying too hard, that's sometimes letting it naturally happen can be a good key or sign or indicator that this person is worth, taking the next step with or moving forward with. And sometimes we don't give enough credit. I love that. What else have you got for us, Allison? You're good at this.
Thank you. I think the other piece is you said cut off ties. If an individual is asking you to cut off ties with your other friends or your family, that is the most ginormous red flag you can possibly run into. Run
Very
away.
true.
I know that's not what you meant, Spencer. I know you were
No,
like,
it's good caveat though.
you're narrowing the amount of other potential partners that you have. You're narrowing that
Hmm.
field.
Hmm.
And sometimes it can take time to figure out, okay, I'm more comfortable with this person in this way, but I'm more comfortable with this person this and this way. And then you get to sit down and decide what are your values and what's important to you.
Right.
But if at any point this individual says, I only love spending time with you, and says you spend too much time with your friends, you spend too much time with your family,
Hmm.
please do not get into a serious relationship with them.
Oh
Because the
yeah.
deeper you go, the more you give your heart to someone, the more your souls interact, the harder it is to leave.
Hmm.
But the more that happens, it's also easier for you to become dependent on that person and forget the other relationships in your life.
Right.
So just please keep this, please keep
Yeah.
in mind to be selective in the partner you're moving to this next stage with, but also be
Hmm.
paying attention to how they treat the people around you, not just
Hmm.
how they treat you.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that because I think that's huge. Big, big time important because those are some red flags, right? We want to watch out for red flags that if somebody is trying to cut us off from our family, that's a different thing. You should feel naturally like, hey, I can gravitate to this individual. And so therefore, yeah, this other relationship that I've kind of dated this person for a few times, yeah, I'm not going to pursue that. I'm going to have a conversation with them and say, look, I have somebody else that I am interested in pursuing at this moment. And thank you for the time we spent together, but I'm headed down this other road. I know that's hard. I know a lot of people have had that conversation with some people, and you're like, oh, ouch. But yeah, it's important to have some good communication here and to let people know where you are and define some of those different things. But no, we're just talking about cutting off ties with other potential individuals,
Suitors?
yes, other suitors, as you're walking down this process. So once you have got things kind of narrowed down, you've officially made that transition when both of you are like, hey, I just want to date you and only you for the time being. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, that's kind of scary because, if we get too serious, what happens? And then there's all kinds of different things. And we could go 100 different directions about what this means. But when we start to become serious and get into a serious relationship, this is where things change a little bit. And this is there again to show you how if somebody's stuck in the casual dating things and somebody else feels like they want to be in the serious dating, then there's some problems and issues. Obviously, if you're moving into this and you're like, I don't want to date anybody else, I'm good, but the other person is still dating other people, that can hurt your feelings, right? That can hurt, cause distance in the relationship, and there's problems and difficulties, and we don't want that. It isn't until both individuals are like, hey, okay, together we're making this decision. This is what's happening. We're headed down this road. So it has to be a mutual decision. It has to be a mutual discussion. We're not talking about, leaving each other's families out or walking away from other
Now I've
things like
made
that.
you paranoid about that.
No, 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 no,
I'm
no,
gonna
no. I
make
I think it's good to make sure that we stipulate, make sure that we are very accurate in what we're talking about, because that is a huge red flag, and stuff. And there again, once you get to that point, like the other person, like your partner at that point, shouldn't be sitting back saying, "You need to stop dating so and so," or "You need to stop." You'll want to naturally do it. If you are ready to head into that direction, you will naturally gravitate towards that. That'll be a natural thing to say, you know what, I'm kind of not, I'm not entertaining other ideas or other options and stuff. I'm honing in here. I'm focusing my attention. I'm putting my whole self into said situation. So once you've crossed that threshold, you are then in the serious dating. Now, this is where things go several different directions. First of all, like I said, we have some people that jump in here right away, right? We jump right into the serious pool, and I've seen this with a lot of folks. And honestly, if you're jumping together, it's not so much a problem. It's just if one person is jumping in and the other one is not, that gets to be a problem. So
and
go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. I'm gonna let you go to this next. I have thoughts, but I will let you see where you're going so I don't derail us.
I'll let me see where I'm going to. I'm not quite sure, but we'll figure it out somewhere down the line. So in stage two, serious dating, this is where you guys are. The dates kind of change a little bit more. Now, in the casual dating, yeah, going out and doing the said quote unquote hangout can be something to do. However, I will tell you, especially all those of the male persuasion, don't do the hangout stuff. Please don't. Please put some planning, some time, some effort, and energy into dating your partner. Okay. Don't just say, "Hey, what do you want to do tonight? I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just, watch a movie, or let's just hang out or whatever. Let's put some thought. Let's put some plan and say you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. I'm not talking about big, extravagant, dates and things like that. There's a lot that you can do without. But every single person deserves to be dated. Okay. And that's an important process that sometimes we miss out on. Sometimes we're like, oh, we're serious in dating, right? Stuff like that. Well, we don't need all that going out to the movies and dinner and blah blah blah. No, you even need that during marriage. So
In
don't let it die just after the second stage. What are you gonna say, Allison?
Intention matters. Do it
Yeah.
intentionally. Okay, maybe you're tired after a long day. You don't want to go out. Still be intentional.
Hmm.
We're gonna make dinner together. Or let's run to the store and grab our favorite snacks.
Hmm.
Or there's this new movie I really wanted to show you and then I want to talk to you about it.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, Spencer, it doesn't have to be elaborate or extravagant, but
Hmm.
be intentional. And I would just add, have most activities that, see, this is where I jump deep really fast. But for me, dating is about building connection and
Yes.
building connection in a variety of ways, building
Hmm.
connection emotionally, building connection intellectually,
Hmm.
building connection spiritually. Are your beliefs aligned or not? Can you deal with that? Can
Hmm.
you not? Important conversation to have. Um, but but have these interactions you're having be a means of showing another part of yourself.
Yeah.
And that for me is where that intention comes in.
Oh,
Maybe you
beautiful.
are just
Yeah.
home not going out doing anything, but what can you share with that person?
Hmm.
What question could you ask them? How do you invite them more into your space? And so for me, serious dating means building connection and building affinity and seeing if you are actually a good fit or if you just went, well, you're fun and you're cute and this will be a good old time. Or
Hmm.
if you're moving to the serious stage, eventually, hopefully that leads to a long-term commitment. So be showing yourself, be making connections, be asking questions about where they're coming from and what their experience is, so that you're not 5 years into marriage and finding out that you actually are two very different beings that were just too afraid to tell each other.
Hmm.
But anyway, that's for courtship, that's for engagement. But I think you start having those deeper conversations, you start building that connection differently so
Hmm.
that you're ready for the next stages when they come along.
Yes. Oh man. See, you knew exactly where we were going tonight. This is beautiful. So let me give you a couple examples of what Allison is talking about. This is how the dating should change. Yeah, dinner and a movie, that was a good thing back in casual dating, okay? And by the way, the whole dinner and movie scenario, you really can't have a conversation when you're at the movie. That
Hmm.
that just doesn't work. So that being said, those casual dates and different things like that to see different people in different lights um, begins to be really, really important in this stage. So let me give you a couple ideas. There is the option or idea. Let's say, for example, and a lot of people don't know this anymore, but I used to change my own oil when I was a kid in my car and stuff like that. So let's say, for example, that's what you're going to do for your date. Now, does that sound romantic? No, probably doesn't. But is it going to be a situational thing where you're going to get to see this individual in a different light? So, for example, if I was dating a young lady and I was like, hey, wear some grubby clothes. We're going to do some service related stuff, or we're going to do some dirty work stuff like that for our date. That might throw her a little bit for a loop, but pick her up, and tell her, hey, we're changing the oil. If she is just absolutely disgusted over that, or if the other individual is not happy about the whole entire situation, then they're missing the whole entire point of what's going on happening. On the flip side, if you pick them up, you say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to change my oil in my car. And if you want, we'll change yours. Um, then this could be one of those things where that individual might think, oh, hey, this is a way for my partner to show me that they are frugal, right? Or that they know how to pinch pennies, or they know how to budget well because it's a little bit cheaper to do this. And it shows that they do things and know how to take care of a car or a vehicle, or all these different kinds of things. Okay, let's throw out another example. So let's say guy calls you up and says, "Hey, going out on a date, or um, here we go. We're dating. We're going out for a date, and essentially your partner says, "Hey, we're going to go to a senior citizen center." And we're going to visit senior citizens. And they're like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. So here you go, and maybe you stop by and get some flowers and stuff like that. And you take a flower into some of the senior citizen centers, and you visit them and you talk to them and you have, conversations and stuff like that. Or let's say, for example, you might be musically inclined, you and your partner, right? And because you happen to be that, you're like, hey, we're going to go sing some songs, right? We're going to get some of the elderly folk there in the main room, and we're gonna have some fun singing some songs and entertaining some of these folks because they don't get a whole lot of entertainment. And so there again, you get to see your partner in a different light. You get to see them, and if they, stand back and they're really awkward and they really don't want to participate, or they have a hard time, or it makes them feel uncomfortable, the first thing that gives you a lot to talk about after you're done, right?
Well, and
um,
maybe you find out they're an introvert and they're just
yeah,
uncomfortable meeting new people, or
yeah.
maybe you find out that they had a traumatic experience once
Hmm.
and so they feel slightly uncomfortable. These are not inherently red flags,
No.
but they do invite you to greater conversation to gather more information.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. For example, if you're a big Disney fan, like myself, and if I found out, halfway through, courtship, that when I take my partner to Disneyland and they get sick on every single ride and they don't like thrill rides, that's going to be a bit of a problem and an issue, because that's something that I really enjoy going to do, is thrill rides and theme parks and stuff like that. So you really want to see this individual in a wide variety of different lights and different circumstances and different situations, okay? And that's what's really important about this serious dating. Now, serious dating gets to the point where there again we have to if we keep going and we're spending a few months, or longer in this stage, and we are continually doing different dates to see the individual in different situations. This is where there's kind of some offshooting different directions that can happen. Some couples decide this is the point in time that they want to cohabitate. Okay. And that can be something that they can decide to do. And if they decide to make that commitment to move in with each other, or maybe it gets to be where you get that drawer, right, in the other person's house, or they actually give you a key to get into their home. There can be some different things that happen, and it comes really quick and really fast. In my opinion, and I will say this is just my opinion, I think it's a little bit too soon for that. When that happens, you're probably more in a courtship phase of things. But yet, there again, people don't really know what is the difference between one or the other. How do we transition? What does this look like? And so that's why we're making this progression here, so that we've got that. So in the serious dating stages, we know that we are headed in a direction of trying to walk down that pathway towards marriage, towards cohabitation, towards having that box, all those different things. Go for it. You have something really good, I can tell.
To increased commitment.
Yes, to
And
increase the commitment.
and so that might be, and as we transition, that might be drawer, that might be key, that might just be instead of, now this is when you're with a person that you care about, these hormones are firing, things are happening, and it's this fun ride to be on. So
Hmm.
as you're transitioning from casual to serious, like you are getting dopamine, you are getting endorphins, you are getting all of these fun things. And that's kind of the honeymoon phase we talk about in a relationship. It is important to let that honeymoon phase wear off before you increase your commitment too quickly.
Hmm.
Can you actually see someone in a variety of phases of their life? So not just
Yeah.
experiences, but also phases. With
Hmm.
the partner that I have now, we have gone through one of our cars blew up. So her car blew up. I totaled my car in a car
Oh,
accident.
wow.
She lost a job. She lost a second job.
Mm.
I lost a position that I valued very highly at the university. We had various family issues come up. The
Hmm.
week that we started dating, well, the week we connected, her great aunt died, and then 2 weeks later, my grandma died.
Oh, wow.
So in building our relationship, a lot of life has happened. A whole lot of life has happened. Um, and her argument when we were first get together, when I say argument, I mean her philosophy of dating
Hmm.
was I want to see you through every season of life.
Hmm.
So because and she's a different person based on the season. In
Yeah.
summer, she is a water person and she is in the pool and she's at the beach and she's doing all these things. In fall, she's a photographer and she's out in nature and doing things. In winter, she becomes a bear and she hibernates. And so we met in October, so I saw one side of her. But it has been so insightful seeing her through every season and seeing how she's different and how life is
Hmm.
different. And so I think that that's an important thing as you're transitioning from serious to courtship. Now, I'm not saying you have to date for a year before you do anything else, but just being aware, just being aware. Are you seeing them not just in different settings, but in different heightened emotional moments, both joy and sadness,
Yeah.
frustration, confusion? Are you seeing them while life is happening, or are you seeing them where they can present you a very carefully thought through mask?
Hmm.
And I think that that's important. I am also just going to insert really quickly the intimacy funnel because
Yes.
I think that that's an important piece of this transitioning from serious dating to courtship. That's
Hmm.
important to keep in mind. This
Hmm.
intimacy funnel was taught to me when I was a junior in high school. So it was taught specifically to keep teen pregnancy out of the way. So
Wow.
I'm just gonna be
I'm
honest.
interested. I'm on the edge of my chair.
So when I was in high school, so some of these things will shift and change as your brain develops
Hmm.
and you are out into the world and you're experiencing more life and you're not being run by teenage hormones. And I understand that. So I'll try and adjust up. But as a teenager, there's this idea of an intimacy funnel. And at the top of the intimacy funnel, you're talking, you're getting to know this person, you're excited to see this person, you love being with them. And so, how do you show that you care about them? You hold hands and you kind of extend that physical touch to them. And then the next kind of step as this funnel narrows is then you kiss someone and you get to know them more. Hopefully, you're teenagers. Who am I kidding? You've known each other 3 days and you've already said you love each other. So or you've started planning your future.
Yeah,
And
right.
then the next step, you're NICMOing. So you're also NICMO means non-committal makeout because
Hmm.
the hormones are running, and then there might be petting, and then we go down to sex, in its variety of forms. So can you see me blushing, Spencer?
You're good. You're on a roll here. Keep going.
Okay. But the idea of explaining it in this intimacy funnel was once you get down to a certain point of the funnel, it's really hard to go back up.
Hmm.
And it's really hard. And I'm going to adjust this a little bit for adults. So as teenagers, she didn't say you couldn't kiss someone, she didn't say you couldn't make out with someone, but the
Right.
point was get to know them first. Like,
Yeah.
don't go from saying, "Oh, you're really cute," to holding hands, to kissing, to making out in 3 days. Like, there's no way for you get to know someone well enough to start giving parts, sharing windows into your soul with someone. That's how I'm going to say this.
Hmm.
Now, as grown adults, we might not be, unless you're reading a Saint Squad novel by Tracy Hunter Abramson, where their entire relationship happens in 3 weeks and then they get married.
Oh.
I'm hoping that you are not going from meeting someone in a traumatic circumstance to spending every day with them because you're protecting them from a national threat to "I
Hmm.
love you and I can't imagine my life without you." I really hope that's not your reality. If it is, please talk to me.
That's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation. But as an adult, the stakes are a little bit higher because you're
Hmm.
essentially interviewing someone to be a life partner
Yeah.
and to take whatever life throws at you, job loss, car wrecks, family dynamics, children perhaps, um, animals. There's a variety of things that you're going to be doing with this person. So before you, I want to make so many jokes about locking lips and all sorts of things, and that's not appropriate
Stay
for
on
this.
target. Stay on
I
target.
know. My one thing my takeaway here in all of my jokes is the more physical connection you have, the more intellectual connection you want to have, the more emotional connection you want to have, the
Hmm.
more understanding of their character you want to have.
Hmm.
Um, what is it called? We talked about it so often when we were first dating, but it's basically that. I'll find the acronym, we'll drop it below. But it's the idea that you don't want your physical connection and intimacy to outpace all of your other connections. So if the idea of a date is just that you're going to sit on your couch and make out for 3 hours, have you learned something about that person,
Hmm.
other than that their lips are soft? Or have you seen something new about them you've never seen before?
Hmm.
And so, and it is true for adults. Once you go down that intimacy funnel, it is very hard to go back up that funnel and keep your connection intact.
Yeah.
You can go back up the funnel. It's possible because your brain has now developed and hormones aren't running you as much, but the connection and the closeness that you had changes once you try and go back up.
Hmm.
And so it is important to keep that in mind. And if my view of this, and this is just Allison's opinion, you can feel about this however you want. The more intimate you become, the more your soul is touching another person. The more that you are revealing deep, intimate, vulnerable parts of yourself to someone else. And that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing at all.
No.
But if you haven't gotten to know the person, do you want little bits of your soul that's brushed up against them wandering the world with 15 other people?
Mm.
I don't. That's one
Yeah.
reason why I sort of just have serious relationships, for good or ill,
Hmm.
because if I'm going to make a connection like with that, I want it to be meaningful. I
Yeah.
want it to matter. And maybe that doesn't mean I end up with them. Maybe in that process, I learn stuff and go, "Nope, that's a no-go for me. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for the time we have together. We need to go separate ways." But my big theme has been no regrets. If I wake up the next
Nice.
morning and I have regret, that was a learning experience, but maybe I don't want to repeat it. And so, my invitation for you is just to consider, as you're moving from serious to courtship, as you're considering new things, where's your regret threshold
Hmm.
on that? And are you going to wake up the next morning and go, "I am so glad that I did that. That was so important for our relationship. I feel so good about that." Versus if in the moment you're like, "What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?" Maybe press pause. in whatever that looks like. In
Hmm.
even on just on a rando date and you're like, what are we doing? Great opportunity for a conversation. I have now stepped off my soapbox and I will hand it back to you, Spencer.
No, you're good. We've only gotten halfway through this, but this is a good stopping point. So we can talk about the first two stages in one episode, and we're going to talk about the next two stages in the next episode. So this gives you something to come back and listen to for next time next week when we throw this out there. But as always, we want to hone in and we want to talk to you for just a
Oh,
minute.
just a second. Just
Oh,
a
go
second.
for it.
I
Yeah.
definitely want to get there, but I want to revisit really fast where we've been.
Oh, go for
Casual
it.
dating, group settings,
Yep.
getting to know people, trying a bunch of different personalities and interactive types, finding out what your values are, what you care about.
Yeah.
Serious dating, you are both drawn to wanting to be with that person.
Hmm.
You are both saying, I want to make a deeper commitment to you. I care about you. If you are fighting the other person on whether they're breaking up with everyone else or not, that is a sign that it is perhaps not ready to move to that next stage. So
Yeah.
we're looking at consent, that both parties are excited about this next step and both parties
Hmm.
want this step. So
Yeah.
that's our casual, that's our serious. We've dabbled. We're moving towards courtship and what that looks like. And also I'm gonna sneak in, not tonight. Tonight we're wrapping up, but in the next episode, I also want to talk about attachment styles and
Hmm.
attachment wounds
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think that's an important piece to consider. Sometimes it's not that a person doesn't want to be with you. Sometimes it's not that a person doesn't value you and wants to make the next step. It's that they have certain wounds or they've had certain experiences that they're just terrified and they're dysregulated as all get out.
Hmm.
And so it's important to understand how we as individuals connect to other people, how we attach, what that looks like so that we can navigate that as we're moving from series to courtship, as we're moving from courtship to engagement, as we're moving to engagement to
Wonderful. Yeah.
long-term partnership, marriage
Hmm.
efforts. So that's where we're heading next, folks. I'm so excited. Spencer, now let's bring it home.
Let's bring it home. Here we go. We want to take a minute and express our gratitude to you. Yes, the ones that listen to us. You have come and are a part of what we're doing here, and we are so very grateful for you. You're a very, very special person, just the way you are and who you are. And no matter where you are on this journey of life, on this journey of learning about yourself and building more self-awareness, if you're on a journey of dating or learning about so many different aspects of how things work for you and your conscious versus your subconscious. You are a very important person. And why? Well, because you're unique and there's no one else quite like you. There's no one quite like you who has the same talents, the same ambitions, the same attitudes, the same behaviors, the same looks, all those different things are uniquely yours and you are special. And we appreciate you being here today. And we appreciate you being here on the next episode, in which we touch on even more things to help you be that exemplary human and exemplary functioning individual as you go through this life. These are great tools for you to be successful and to be the best you possibly can and to put the best you possibly can forward to the world and to everybody else, because we know that you are special and you are worth it. You are worth it. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it.
You just wrapped it all up in a bow. Thank you,
There we go.
Spencer.
A bow is it. Thanks, everybody, for listening.